Hi, everybody. Brian Hale from Westfield, Mass. I've been reef keeping probably about 20 years now. So I've had multiple tanks. I've every new house I moved to started up a whole new tank. Behind me, this is an old Oceanic 175. Had this actually in another house. I had it in the basement for God, almost 10 years, just empty in the basement, sitting there, and because my house wasn't big enough for it. So finally, we saw this house in Westfield, and I said this will be perfect for my fish tank. Like we gotta buy this house. so so I got it set up here. Yeah, it's all plumbed down into the basement, and well, I call it the basement, but it's just like down a level, down a hallway, and that's where I've got all the frags for sale down there. And that makes it really quiet. There's nothing making noise up here. I just have the two MP40s for flow, and then I've got three Kessels, and that's it. I'm growing SPS in there and everything with just the three Kessels. They're the newer version. They're really wide, and they're great. And this room is all windows, so I get a lot of sunlight too, which kind of fills in like you would have with like T5s or something. So it kind of helps me out. But yeah, I'm pulling it off. It's been working great. It's been going for we moved in here like five or 6 years ago. I did pop a seal though, and I had to redo everything. So it was a big disaster at 1 a.m. So technically this new setup's like about 4 years old, 3-4 years old, something like that. But it's been going great. I redid the whole thing and slathered it in silicone and let it dry. All the rocks, I actually use concrete, and I concreted them all together, so it's like legit one solid rock in there. And yeah, it's great. It's the cliff wall look. So I'm sure you're sick of looking at me. I'll take the camera and I'll bring it over there so you can get a better look. In a second,
Brian, quick question for you. Do you have like some water sensors on your floor, or how did you realize that it broke a seal that late?
My water sensor was my wife waking me up at 1 a.m. saying, "Brian, your tank is leaking." I said, "What?" She said, "Your tank is leaking." So we came out. We had to throw everything out the door. Like I was, bringing fish down into the sump, and there was electrical cords down in the basement, so there was like sparks shooting. It was.
Oh my god! Originally, how much drained out before you were able to start getting fish and stuff out of there?
It was coming out pretty quick, but I mean, we were watching it go down, like so. Yeah, we got everything out pretty quick, and I didn't lose any fish or anything.
Oh, that's awesome.
I lose a lot of corals, but was able to save a lot too. But yeah, water sensor would be a good idea. But it's great. Yeah, so zoom in here. I'm still on there. All right. Yep. So I did the cliff wall kind of look to it. It's just goes straight up, and then I have the Kessels like right on the edge so they can reach down in the front. So let's see. Yeah, so it's truly like a mixed reef. I mean, it's got everything everywhere. The star of the show is this big pink carpet anemone. He's been great. I've had him for a long time. And then I've got some really nice chalices mixed in and some staghorns. You guys can see this all right. And coming around this way, got some leptos. Really love the encrusting leptos. A lot of Montes. This is probably the, I don't know, 5th or 6th Monte I've grown on this little ledge here, and they just get too big, I take a flathead screwdriver and smash them off the rocks and frag them and then start a whole new one. And it's doesn't take long. These things grow so fast. Yeah. And on the side, you know, I'm starting a little Aiken alley going up the edge here. I got every inch of this thing plastered in corals. It's a cool side view through the edge here. Yeah, so I got this at the Frag Farmers Market. I forget who I bought it off of. That's a little Walt Disney. It came as a little tiny tip, and it spread out for a long time, and now it's finally starting to branch. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one. I've got these 24 karat leptos. I put them everywhere, all over my tank, because just something about that yellow, you know, that gold color just adds a lot of pop. I love them. And this is a Space Invader chalice. It's not the Pectinia, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I've got my white zombies or blue agaves, salted agaves. I'm not sure really the difference. It's hard to tell, but these things grow like weeds for me. So I've just been scraping them off the rock and fragging them, and I'm selling big frags with even 5 or 6 polyps for $20. You know, so if anybody needs those, look me up. They're real nice. Yeah, I got some little Montes mixed around. Bizarro Cyphastria, that's one of my favorites. Just love the colors on that. Let's see. We got some leathers mixed in. Like eye candy. This chalice is probably like one of my favorite pieces in the whole aquarium. It's just, you know, beautiful bright yellow with blues and reds, and there's a little green mixed in. So I'll let that grow out a little bit, and I'll have frags of that. And then I've got this other rainbow chalice up here, which is really nice as well. Oh, one second. Hey, Kristen, I think your food is here. Food delivery. This is a big clean mackerel over here. This is the Space Invader Pectinia. So I love that too. I got that at Frag Farmers Market as well. Love that place. Hope it comes together this year. A nice big Lobo. I got a Lobo down in the sand. And then I also got some Lobos way up there, which you think they're up high, so you know, too much light, but they're way in the back, so they're happy up there. They're doing good. Tubstellata. Tubstellata is growing good. Got a lot of Gorgonians all mixed in. I just love how they kind of wave, you know. Aiken, it's kind of closed up right now. Yeah, here's a cool Echinata and another really cool chalice. That's just a little frag, but that's going to be sweet. Oh, got some Zoas. These Zoas are kind of getting out of control here. I don't know if they're going to go right up the tank or what, but they're cool. I don't mind. They're awesome.
Yeah, I remember seeing those and loving them. If you ever frag them, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. I can totally frag those. Hey, Moises, how you doing? Good to see you, man.
It's okay, my friend. It's okay.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. I have problem in my aquarium. So, all is dead. Everything is dead, my friend.
Oh no.
Yeah. I lost too many.
Yeah, feel free to call me anytime. I'll help you out with stuff. For sure.
Yeah. I know. I thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my friend.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the reef tank. There's some stuff around the corner too. This one's growing really nice too. You know, starting to plate over itself. Just love the colors on that. So I'll be having frags of that soon. It's getting out of control. But yeah, so that's the display tank upstairs. And like I said, it's just a MP40 over in the corner here. And it is the bow front, so, you know, I don't know if that helps it go around the corner or what, but it seems to be doing good. Another MP40 over there. And literally that's it for flow. You know, that's doing it. So we got like really high flow over in this area and really high flow over there, and then a more gentle kind of mixed flow in the middle. Oh yeah, these two, the grandest polys, love those things. They are so big. They're like the size of a small apple, you know? So, yeah, and then the fish, like I said, I always forget about the fish, so I can I'll show you guys how I feed the fish real quick. 1 second. So my fish, I went with the aggressive kind of setup, you know. A lot of these fish are originals, so I haven't really changed it at all. And, I'm happy with them. I really like them. There's a couple of wrasses, banana wrasses, the tomato clowns, and then we got the two tangs that they must be a mated pair. I don't know. One's bigger than the other, and they're really friendly. I don't know. Yeah, so this is as crazy as they get, feeding time. Yeah, there's a couple others that'll come out of the rocks. Yeah, pretty neat. Okay, so I'll bring you down the hallway. I'll show you my frag setup. Yeah, if anybody has any questions anytime, just, you know, shout out. We'll head down the hall. This is the real magic down here. Okay, so it looks like a kitchen, but I swear it's not in my kitchen. Just whoever built this house had extra cabinets and they put it down here. Okay, so I've got a couple tubs. I got a tub here and then a tub underneath. And then I've got my big frag tray. I turned off the pumps for you guys. So it's basically, it's 3 systems. There's the upstairs tank is actually plumbed into this tank. So they're together. I've got all the dosing set up where I only have to test everything once. And then I've got the 2 tubs on the floor are a separate zone. And then I've got this 75 over here as a quarantine tank. So whenever I buy someone's tank off of Craigslist or I get new stuff, I put it in here, watch it for a month or so, and, you know, get the hair algae and the Asterina starfish off of them. And then once I'm certain everything's good, I'll move them into here, and then I'll move them up into the upper tank. But yeah, so I'll show you. I'll give you some coral, like a show here, and then I'll show you all my filter room and everything. So I'm not very good at organizing stuff. I just got everything just crammed in here. Got a little bit of organizing going on, but so like for example over here I've got all the leptos, all kinds of different colors, leptos. I got some chalices mixed around, leathers here and there. I've got a couple, you know, grow out tiles spread around here and there. So when I get the new system, you know, I'm gonna have everything growing down below, and then I'll be able to move it up here for when they're ready for sale. But right now I got just everything thrown in. So I can I'll move slowly around, you know, kind of show you. Got more Space Invader chalices, got Starlit chalice. got some clove polyps. And then we're coming over to the bubbles. Got a whole line of bubbles here. The blue ones was a huge colony, and I actually fragged it up, and it worked out great. Yeah, I did lose a couple of them, but these ones all look nice and healthy. And then we got a lot of Duncans over here. This is my blasto area. All kinds of blastos. And these are all on the website too. So if you guys want to see prices or anything, you can go on thecoralfarm.com, check it out. Also usually end up giving people discounts if they come out to the house. So, you know, come on in and we'll hook you up. Yeah, so there's a lot of different blastos. Let's see, then we get over here, we get some mushrooms going. So you get the, you know, red, get the bright orange ones, green. I got some Recordias over here, Florida. There's even an elegance hanging out over here. Yep. And then you get over to the corner, got some like yellow polyps and some, you know, some button polyps and stuff. These are my clownfish. They usually have free reign of the whole tub, but it's hard to take pictures or anything with them. They're always so hungry. They're coming over for food, so they got quarantined over in the anemone area, just so I can film this. But I'll let them back out soon. I'm sure they don't mind being in there. It's a new change of scenery for them. Yep. And then we got lots of Pulsonzenia. Those are big sellers. Everybody loves those. Little star polyp frags I just started. There's just so much stuff. I mean, I figure it's you're paying to heat the water and you're paying for the lights and everything. So, you know, use the space. Just my biggest problem is stuff stinging each other, you know. So coral wars. You can see like a little bit going on here, like the acros, you know. See, I'll see them stinging, so I'll put them up on stilts like this one, and I'm always constantly moving stuff around, trying to get away from other things. Yeah, and then I do have a lot of sun corals too, but I keep them in the dark, you know. They don't need the light. Ooh, there's a couple up there. So yeah, and then this way. Okay, so over here, this is kind of like the section of stuff that I get trading with people, and you know, I just starting it out, so I frag it. So I move frags out of here a lot of times. And then I put it over here for sale. But this is kind of my little divider bar where all the new stuff's over here. And this is my daughter's coral. She calls it Baby Cleo. So she's trying to mix Monties together. She said, "Don't sell that, Daddy." Yeah, so got some maize corals mixed in. There's a lot of stuff here. But every time you come out, you know, it's going to look different. So I'm always moving corals, you know. And then, yeah, we got some Ganies and Alveoporas. Yeah, big maze here. So in the middle is all the zoas. So I've got tons and tons of zoas, and they grow onto each other. And you might find some plugs with 3 different zoas on it. It's fun watching them cruise around the plugs. We got Cyphastria area over here. I just made a bunch of new frags here. The Akins are, I mean the, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the acro section. So the acros they all started small, and they've encrusted, and they're growing up branches. They're gonna be like mini colonies, you know, because I'm not like, I don't sell like crazy. I'm always just like, you know, stuff sticks around sometimes, and so it really has a chance to grow out, which is awesome. Yeah, yeah, so the acros are doing good. We got some Galaxia. We've got the gold Galaxias and the green ones. They're really cool, but they got a little extra space because you know they got the big sweeper tentacles. Yeah, and then so we got a few Philia over here. It's all a big mix. We got all kinds of great stuff here, and then I've got a whole bunch of torches too over in a different tank. And some new stuff over here, a couple garage tiles. Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. I spend a lot of time down here just looking stuff over, and you know, if something gets too big, I chop it up and make 4 more, and it doesn't take long until that's a whole new 4 new colonies. So yeah, and then so we got some stuff over here. This stuff it's actually all clean, so it can be moved over, but I'm just letting it encrust a little bit. We got another tang that I rescued over there, and oh yeah, so there's this tank here. Not much going on in here. There's a couple of nice chalices down in the middle. Hard to see here. I don't want to drop my computer in the water. Yeah, a couple of big chalices. I don't have the lighting adjusted for this tank, but and then down under here, these are all good to go too. They're good for sale. Got a whole bunch of more frags. It's just there's corals everywhere. I've got a couple of bigger colonies. Got a lot of gorgonians. So yeah, mix of everything. And then, so I could talk a little bit about the plummet. Anybody have any questions about the corals? You want to see anything again? Good. Okay, so I'll show you. So in this closet here, this is the plumbing. This is out of this world. It's like insane, right? So so everything comes down from upstairs, the upstairs fish tank, and it dumps down into this 110-gallon sump. And then the water gets sucked up again into this pump here, and I can go into the sink for water changes. I go back upstairs, and then this one goes through the wall over to a chiller. So in the summer, got to cool down the water, and then it comes back, dumps into here. We got my skimmer, and then it pours back down into the sump. It also pours into this tank. This is where all my torches are. So we got a good mix of torches. And a big clown too. Huge. That thing is huge. But yeah, torches are beautiful. They got their own little area here. All kinds of torches. Yeah, and then so I do 2-part dosing for everything. I have literally just a cheap Jebo, something like that. That's it. I upgraded to the Wi-Fi version, so I'm fancy now. It's like literally like one of the cheapest dosers, but it works. I mean, it works great. And I do the 2-part. I usually get it from Bulk Reef Supply. I do 5-gallon buckets, and it lasts me about a month each. So, and then I do magnesium as well. So I go through a lot of stuff, and then I do water changes too, maybe like 50 gallons every couple of weeks. Got a small reservoir here for just water if I need it anytime. And then I got, you know, my Marine Depot filter, water filter, with gauges and everything. And let's see, and then out here is my 50-gallon bucket. So everything, the water change goes on here. I actually use the same bucket for freshwater, and I do water changes. Saves on space, and you know, it works for me. It'd be nice to have separate, but I'm packed down here. I got everything. And then there's a chiller in there. I also have a chiller on this setup as well. I got a little one here. And that just keeps this cool in the summer. But yeah, so let me see. Oh, I also got some sea slugs. I forget the name of these little guys, but they're the ones that eat the Aptasia. So I'm trying to breed those to see how it goes. It's doing good so far. They're laying eggs and everything. So hopefully I'll have some of those in a couple months. Let's see what else. I can come over here. Yeah, so this is where I cut the corals, and you know, I got my diamond bandsaw here and a bunch of plugs. And yep, that's basically it. You know, saw them up. I use super glue to the new plugs and put them in the tank, and they're good to go. So, I don't know. What else? Oh yeah, for testing. I got, you know, I use the Salifert stuff. I love Salifert just because you get, you know, more bang for your buck. I mean, I can do so many tests for $16 or whatever it is. Alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, and I test like every few days. I mean, I got my little booklet here. I write it down every time. It's easy. I've done it so many times. It's so quick, you know. Yeah. And then I always, you know, pop some tunes on. I got my old radio and some records, so I can come over, I'll have the music rocking. But I don't know, guys. What do you think? You got any questions on anything? Did I forget anything?
I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but how long has this taken you?
Oh, okay. So let me see. I started this frag tank actually not that long ago. It was, I think it's been about a year now. Actually, I think I started it last fall. So this has all come a really long way, really fast. Over the winter, it started, you know, turning purple, and I started filling it up, and yeah, and then it's been going so great. And they've actually been growing, which I'm like, yes, you know. And so I started selling them out of my house, just kind of, you know, as a hobbyist, make some extra money, pay the bills, and coronavirus hit and everything. And I couldn't believe how many people were coming over. So I just went with it, and I started fragging stuff out of my tank, and, you know, trading. I go out on Craigslist and, you know, find people for reef tanks for sale. I'd be driving to New Jersey or New York, all over the place, buying people's tanks and putting them over there, cleaning them up, all kinds of critters on them, getting them perfectly clean, and then selling them, you know. And I've had, you know, I'd have, sometimes I have to buy their whole tank, so I'd have like piles of tanks out in the backyard for sale. And don't want the tanks or the fish, but, you know, I'm just going for the corals, and it's been good. And I do have a few commercial accounts, so it's not all aquacultured, but I'd probably say it's over 90% all aquacultured stuff, you know, from other people's tanks. But I do get some fancy stuff in sometimes. And a lot of the stuff from my wholesale accounts is aquacultured as well. You know, I really try to do that as much as possible. But yeah, like, see, I got the anemones here. I love those. They're so pretty. Yeah, and then so eventually, pretty soon, I've got someone working with me. His name's Ethan. He's building a metal stand. I'm going to upgrade this. It's going to actually be a lot bigger, and I'm going to have two of them, one above the other. So it'll be in the same spot, but it's going to be upgraded like a lot. So that's my next endeavor, you know, over this winter, converting this over. So I got to figure out how to get the new tanks up and running and ready to go, and then move these corals in, you know, without without losing anything. So I got to be super careful. And I'm working on emptying this out. And then I've got quite a bit of corals here. So I do have to move some corals. I got to sell some corals and try to thin it out a little bit, you know, so then I can start up the new tank. But my plan, as crazy as it is I'm going to put this on casters on wheels, and I'm going to roll it over to this side of the room. Then we're gonna install the new metal stand and get that all plumbed up and running. You know, have it running for however long it takes, a couple months, and then move the corals over. That's my plan right now. It might change, but I should really do like a build post for you guys on that, because it's going to be pretty awesome. Stuff started rolling in already. So I'm going with the Ecotec lights. I've got a whole stack. I mean, this is like, you know. So I'm going with the XR15s, the Gen 5s down below, and yeah. And then I'm doing let's see, we got these big pumps. I forget what they are. They're also Ecotecs, but yeah, the Vectra L2s. So I'll be having 4 of those running, which will that'll be feeding 1-inch bulkheads all the way around. So there'll be like 6 on each side. It's gonna be awesome. My camera might die for batteries here, so if you lose me, I'll pop a new battery in and I'll come right back. Turn down the brightness here.
Have you ever run a refugium on your system?
I did, yes. Yeah, I had a refugium, had a bunch of Chaeto going and everything, and it was great, you know, but once I'm moving this many corals around and everything, I get the hair algae in there, and if you use fluconazole, if you're careful with it, you know, you can really eradicate the green hair algae. And like you can see, I don't have any hair algae anywhere in it. So the thing with that is, though, it kills all plant life. I mean, so you can't have a refugium. It's gonna melt anything plant-based, you know. But for me, it's a good trade-off. I do water changes to keep the nitrates in check, and everything's good.
If you were running a refugium, would you be pretty much running completely without water changes?
No, I think I'd always still do water changes, because for me, when I do a water change, I see like the colors pop more, like the corals they just look a lot healthier, you know. I can really see the difference. I don't dose like amino acids and trace elements and stuff, so maybe that has something to do with it too. And I don't have a calcium reactor, so I think the trace elements really are coming from my water changes. So I don't know how much of that, you know, how you guys would probably, everybody's got an opinion on that, but for me, I'm always gonna be doing water changes, and just to keep stuff cleaner, you know. I mean, I use a hose and I clean the sand, and I'm always siphoning stuff out. So I'm a big fan of water changes, for sure. And I do 50-gallon water changes every couple of weeks, or sometimes a month, you know, just gotta, whenever it starts looking a little grungy.
Hey, Brian, I got a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
So the number one is, how'd you get into reef keeping and saltwater as a whole?
Okay, yeah. So I had a freshwater fish tank when I was a little kid on my desk in my bedroom, and I would just sit there and just stare at those fish floating around, and it never really left me. I've just always loved it. I've always had a fish tank, and people always told me, oh, it's too hard, you know, it's expensive. There's so many reasons. They kept telling me why not to do it, and then eventually I just said, I want to do it. I'm going to do it, you know. And it was expensive because I didn't know what I was doing, and I lost stuff, but everybody goes through it, and you got to learn. And I just kept at it, you know. And
Nice.
Yep, just kept getting better and better at it. And once I got the alkalinity thing down, I think that was a real key for me, you know, to get alkalinity, keep that stable, and stuff's gonna grow, you know.
Yeah, stability is key from
Yep.
what I'm told.
It really is.
Yeah, so I actually have a whole list of questions just of, you know, what some people were typing, you know, what some guys have texted me or commented on the forum and whatnot.
Great.
So, yeah, I mean, some of the stuff you've already kind of touched on, like, you know, what's your maintenance schedule like? I know you said you do a, you know, 50-gallon water change every couple of weeks. You test every couple of days. Do you run a controller? And if so, which one do you use and why, or why not do you not run a controller?
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So I don't use any controllers. It's all, you know, the only thing I have to tell me is I've got these Red Sea pumps down there that they email me if the power goes out. So that's really nice to have. But I just my train of thought on all that is like the more technology you have, the more chances of something to fail. And I know it's like it's to help you know that if something fails, but I'm always here. I'm here all the time, and so I'm checking this thing daily, multiple times a day. I'm always here. It's like a store, you know. So I'm just watching everything, and I do have a controller. It's been in the garage for over 10 years. I've never, I think I plugged it in once, but I just yeah, passed that. Whoop. Okay, I lost my camera battery, but I'll go get a new battery. I can answer your questions while I get a battery.
Yeah. Oh. Did you say I can answer the questions while he gets a battery?
Oh no,
All right, my bad. I didn't know if I was hearing things. Yeah, so why Radions and Kessels, and what did you run prior to using them?
Okay, yeah, even not too long ago, I actually, above my frag tank, I had all sorts of different mixed lights, LEDs, metal halides, I had everything there. And and I upgraded just from, you know, watching online and learning about everything. And I was really due for an upgrade, you know, and
Sure.
I love the spread. You're not mixing colors. The online app is amazing. So the Ecotecs are
No.
really great.
No, this is
And
a follow-up question to, you know, to Ecotec. Do you run a specific lighting schedule, or is it a combination of like AB plus modified, or something that just looks good to your eye, or, you know, have you run a par meter on the tank and see what type of par you're getting or anything like that?
yeah, you know, I would really love to borrow your guys' par meter, you know, over there, Boston Reefers. I've actually never done it, and I run AB plus with a little bit of more blue added in. I grew up with like metal halides and everything, so I was really used to the really white lights, you know. So I've been moving more and more towards blue. It really is awesome, you know. They really pop.
Okay.
So yeah, and then up here I have the Kessels, just because the Kessels, they just look good with my setup, you know. They look really good in the
Sure.
room. They're tiny, and the spread on them is amazing. I mean, they're going all the way to the back of the tank, and they're lighting up the sand like crazy. I mean, they overlap each other and everything. I got 3 of them, 175, so I think it's 6 feet. They're great.
Oh,
Yeah.
what brand of salt do you use?
Okay, I use Instant Ocean. I switched like for like a small period of time to the Reef Crystals, but I found like more people keep their alkalinity a little bit lower, so I was like gearing it towards my customers, trying to keep it a little lower. And my corals have been doing great, you know. Yeah, just Instant Ocean. I buy the 200-gallon boxes. I just go online, find the best deal. Recently, I've been doing Chewy, I guess it is. Chewy's been having really great deals.
Yeah.
So I've been buying, I get cases of those delivered. It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, do you know what your total volume of water would be?
So I figured right now, I think I'm right around 700 gallons or so. Yeah, and then after the upgrade's done this winter, I'll be like around 1100, somewhere around there.
So now the hydro tub, you said that was 4x8, right?
It's a little short of that. Yeah, it might be like 3.5 by 5 or something like that. It's 69 gallons. I
69 gallons.
Yeah, I figured out the volume on it, or yeah.
Nice. What else did I have? Skimmer. What type of skimmer you running?
Yeah, I've got the octopus. I think it's Red Sea octopus, something like that.
Reef octopus.
Reef octopus. That's what it is. Yeah. The skimmer. I don't know. I mean, it's probably really underpowered, but I'm not really emptying it all that much.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's fine. Yeah, there's the water changes too help a lot. So doing that.
All right. I just have one more question that somebody was asking. Excuse me. Jeez Louise. What's been your biggest hurdle getting into the retail market with so many distributors and small dealers out there that you've had to encounter?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I don't know. I've just kind of been doing my own thing over here, just keeping it relaxed and low key and all. I have been having, like, I would love to start doing some of the reef shows and all, but you know, obviously with the COVID hitting, it was like a perfect storm for me starting a new business. You know, it didn't work out so well doing the reef shows, so I'm really looking forward to when that comes back.
Nice.
Yeah, we really like shipping too. I'm working on shipping, figuring out the pricing on that, because it's expensive. You know, I'm sending stuff like, next day FedEx, like the fastest 10:30 in the morning rate, because I really care about the corals, but figuring out how to turn a profit on that without charging an arm and a leg for the coral too. So
right. I know from my own experience, a lot of people don't realize how expensive it really is in order for the vendor to ship. They see the say $50 flat rate or whatever, but it really costs you $85.
Yeah,
they don't really take that into account, but
yeah,
it's crazy. But yeah, we have a BRS hosts a frag show. Obviously due to COVID, it didn't happen last month, but planning on having a bigger and better one come next year, hopefully, as long as things go back to somewhat normalcy.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Absolutely.
Do you use any like lenses to make it look better? Because it looks really awesome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Actually, I'm using a Canon DSLR camera right now. Canon came out with a new upgrade to the web app or whatever, so I can actually use my camera as a webcam. So no, I don't have. I have a. Actually, I do have. What is that? Like the sunglass? Not the orange, but it takes away the reflections. I can't think of the name of it right now, but. When you wear those sunglasses to go fishing, but I got
polarized.
Polarizer, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's got a polarizer on it. But no, these are the straight up colors. But I don't have it deep blue right now. It's just kind of it is blue, but yeah, I like my tanks like this.
Hey Brian, what's the difference in price between the camera that you're using and those clip-on lens filters?
Yeah,
about 5,500.
My cell phone, and those things are great. The orange filters, but yeah, I'm also a professional photographer, so I've got lots of fancy gear. I'm lucky to have all that.
I don't know. My $26 Amazon one worked pretty great.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Those things are awesome. But these the Ecotec lights too, even the Kessels, I mean, with the apps they got, you can really like I have a setting called photo mode, and I'm willing to totally share it with you guys if anybody wants it. But I can change all the settings and just put my camera on 10K white balance, and then it's hardly any editing. I mean, it just like looks perfect when I hit the button.
With the Kessels, they have a kind of a set like color combo, and then you just adjust intensity, right?
No, the new ones you can change. Yeah, there's different channels. There's like a red channel, red, green, and violet or purple. I forget what they call it. And then there's brightness and intensity and the blue. So yeah, they've split it up a lot more. And I really love the Kessels because of that shimmer. I mean, it's a strong shimmer, and it's different people's taste, but I really like the strong shimmer. And the Ecotext downstairs, they have a shimmer too. It's it's a little bit muted, which is also really nice. But
with your lighting, do you adjust it at all, like with the moon cycle and all that, or do you just keep it the same all year long?
Downstairs in the frag tank, I've got it just running on their AB spectrum with a little added blue, and it does have the moonlights built in. And some days the moonlights are on bright, some days they're on low. Like it just does its own thing. Up here, I just have like just one setting. It's just I think it's like 1% for a couple channels. I think like green and blue, or I got some sort of a mix going on for the moonlight.
Hey, Brian, sorry, go ahead, bud.
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, Manny, how you doing?
What's up, man?
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I was gonna say the moonlights on the Radions, it adjusts to the moonlight schedule that is programmed into the app. So
Yeah.
on some days they'll appear brighter than others.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So it just follows the moon schedule. Oh.
So, Brian, somebody, Todd was asking, on average, how long does it take for you to be able to frag a coral for sale to a customer? And also in terms of growth period length of time.
Okay, yeah. Let's see, you still there?
Yep.
Okay, hold on, I almost shut off my computer. Wait, I'm back. Okay, whoa, that was close. Yeah, it really depends on the coral. We've got really fast growing stuff like the Leptoceras, and the Cyphastria. I'll frag it, and it'd be ready for sale in maybe 3 weeks or so. But that's just being encrusted a little. To get the whole 1.5 inch plug completely covered and solid, it'd be a good like couple months, I'd say, something like that. But if you're doing like 20-30 frags at a time, you can rotate them, so you always have brand new stuff ready for sale. Same thing with the Montes. I mean, those things, they're so fast. Like I put a little chip of this down, I don't know, not too long ago, and it's too big. I'm gonna have to knock that out of there very soon and start a new one. Yeah, stuff grows pretty good. It's basically, if it's encrusted, then then I say it's ready for sale. I wouldn't sell something not encrusted. Yeah, and then
Brian, are you using your phone right now?
I'm using a DSLR. Yeah, I got it hooked up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can.
How are you using Zoom on your DSLR?
I got you guys hooked up, just wired up to a little tablet.
Ah, creative.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, so look pretty good.
Gotcha.
Anyone else have any questions for Brian?
Geared more towards like the blastos and other hard corals like that. How much would it go for like a single polyp of that kind of coral?
Of blastos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got blastos for like $10 for a single polyp. Blasto Helsinki and something like that. I don't know if I'm saying it right. And then Blasto Merlettis, those are the smaller ones. I've got the colonies are bigger, so you're looking at like 30, 40 bucks, depending on which one. Those. But it all, I've got so many of all different kinds of stuff that there's prices all over the board for sizes and variations. I love Blastos. Those are like, that's my jam. Like these ones, I forget if they're Savage Sapphire or something like that, but they're blue in the middle. Those are really cool. I got some bright green centered ones here. These ones are like nuclear green. I don't actually have any solid green ones, but I'm always looking for new ones. These ones are solid red with no green in the middle. Those are pretty cool. Yeah, I've got Blastos pretty much scattered all over my tank. I think I got some purple ones in here. Yeah, there's some purple ones. Yeah, for frag prices, I've got stuff basically starting at $10. I've got a lot of corals for $10, and then they go all the way up to. I just got a new one, a grafted Monty digitata. It's a digi, so red and green digi, and I'll be having those for sale. They're not for sale yet, but giving me a couple months, I'll have some frags of that. So there's some like really cool stuff hidden around in my tanks. Yeah. And the chalices too. I just love the chalices. Yeah, this one will be fragged really soon. I'll have a bunch of frags of that.
Hey Paul, I missed. Where's Brian located?
Okay, yeah, I'm in Western Mass. I'm in Westfield, so it's you're taking the Mass Pike exit 3, and I'm not too far off the highway. Just a little past Springfield. Yeah, and I'm here pretty much every weekday. So just send me a text message, say, "Hey Brian, you around?" And most likely I'll say, "Yep, come on over." You can check stuff out on my website, thecoralfarm.com, ahead of time, kind of see what I got in stock. I try to do a what you see is what you get page too. I'm not the best at updating it, but I usually have multiples of everything anyway. And then I have a shop page that just literally just full of eye candy, all the different corals that I have. And then a lot of stuff I don't have. If you come here or you ask for it. I've been working on the website, and it's getting there. It's got hundreds of corals available on there, different corals.
When you first started placing corals, did you just kind of go off of like what would work best for lighting, or did you just kind of throw stuff in wherever and it just kind of grew in, right?
Great question. Yeah, so my method on planting corals, because I don't always remember everything about every coral. I go on to Live Aquaria and I legit just read their what they got on there. And then or Tidal Gardens, or there's a few sites that are really good. Yeah, and then so I read that and I try to do my best educated guess on what the coral needs. And yeah, and then I use the super glue gel. My method for gluing them in there is I put super glue gel on the rock underwater and make a nice dab and rub it into the rock. And then I put super glue underneath the coral, on the coral out in the air. And then when I combine them both underwater, give them a little wiggle, and the glue attaches to itself. And that's worked so great for attaching them, right away. Yeah, and then so I just started loading it up, and now I'm at the point where I'm just like, I think I can fit one here. Oh, look at this cave I didn't notice, there's an inch right there. I could put something pointy or around that rock.
Have you had a lot of issues with stuff growing into each other and stinging each other, or?
Yeah, well, definitely down in the frag tank for sure. You know, that's my biggest problem now. So I'm really looking forward to the extra space, growing space. And but up here, yeah. So where I had like behind this green Monty here, or this chalice is, I had a gold torch. I think it was a like a double head gold torch, and it started off small, but it got big fast, and it just started stinging everything like underneath this big staghorn. It kind of got stung under there. It even tore up this Ophilia. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Just on the side, it's all healed up now. But yeah, so the torches are, you know, they can do some damage. Other than that, like it's usually just me cleaning or going in gluing stuff. I'll break stuff with my arms and everything. This Jason Fox, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's Favetes, I think. And I dropped one of this acro back here when I was doing some cleaning, and I dropped it right on there and didn't notice, so it stung a little spot on there. But other than that, you know, it's been pretty good. This leather is actually getting too big, and it started stinging this Gorgonian, so that branch is a little thin right there. You know, so I'll have to frag this soon. And to frag that, you know, I'm thinking I can take the whole thing out of the tank and cut it up separately. That's my main plan. My B plan is to cut it underwater, but you maybe have a siphon hose going right next to while I'm cutting it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that move though, because I'm gonna be breaking corals everywhere. You know, so I'll probably just like chisel it out at the base and cut it, and then glue in a small one. Start again. That thing grew fast. Like it was tiny, just one little branch not too long ago. Yeah, this is my favorite view. I love looking down the long end. You know, it's like just so cool. I'm sure you guys are the same way. You look down on the small side of your tank, and you're like, oh, I should have put it in a wall with just a little window or something, you know? Yeah, so cool. Yeah, and I got a Cyphastria in here. It's actually pretty big, but this thing just grew right over it. So that's going to be happy when it gets some sun again. Although they grow so fast, that's just going to like shoot right up the wall. So that's why I keep growing Monty caps right here. Keep him in check. And these Akins fill in. It's going to be really nice around this corner here.
Do you ever miss the time where you had so much space left in this tank to just keep gluing new stuff every time you got it?
No, actually, I think it's a lot of work to glue stuff in, and it's stressful, you know? You're like, like to glue it, like sometimes I'll just do like 10 corals all at once, you know, and just try to, I'm like, I'm going to do as many as I can tonight. And it takes a long time. You know, how your fingers get just covered in glue, and if you're wearing gloves, your gloves or your fingers are sticking together, or you're stuck to the glue tube, and like it's just
covered in glue.
Dude, covered. You're peeling off giant chunks of super glue off of your fingers. Like, yeah, it was it's tough. Like, you know, it was a lot of work. People just look at it and they're like, wow, beautiful colors and everything, but no, every inch of this thing is a piece of artwork that I've worked really hard on, you know. And but it is nice to, you know, like you said, you put a couple new corals in there, and you're looking at them and geeking out over like something brand new you got. My newest one is this chalice up here. It's gonna color up really nice. It's like an orange with blue. It's got some green and red in there too. That's gonna be a nice piece. So I'm watching that one. But yeah, I mean, there's always room. Like I can put a few corals there, you know. Absolutely. Yeah. So what do you guys think? What do you think I should add to this tank? Think I should do like more acros or get some bigger splashes of color, some more LPS,
Time to go bigger on the tank.
bigger on the tank. That's always the right Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good size for this room. You know, if I got anything bigger, it'd have to go like custom built. You know, 175 gallons. Yeah, that'll work. Keeps me busy.
Against the back wall, is it pressed with coral the entire way? Because if not, maybe some mangroves.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be. I do put a glass lid on the top. I have lots of that have but in the summer I have one lid off. You know, let some heat get out of there, and then in the winter I'll put all three on to keep the heat in. But yeah, some mangrove. I think a mangrove would probably go really well down in the frag tank because I got all those lights and everything. So that's a great idea. Yeah. I don't know if it would. I don't know if it would work with my fluconazole method.
Yeah.
You know, but algae control. But I could figure something out. Get another tank.
It's always the solution.
Yes. Yeah,
Well, Brian, when you make the upgrade, do you plan on continuing to run 2-pot, or do you plan on a calcium reactor in the future?
So I really would love to do a calcium reactor. I even have a lot of the stuff for it, but I'm just honestly, I'm just nervous to make the switch. You know, like it's got a lot going on here, and to make the switch, I don't know if I screw one thing up, screw the bubble count up or something. Like, oh, it'd be devastating. So maybe I could practice on a smaller tank first, and then go for it someday or something. But from what I've been talking to all you guys, other people, the calcium reactor is it can really increase growth rates.
Yeah, I have one in the garage. I haven't set it up yet. I'm not anywhere near that spot yet. But
Yeah, I'm going through about gallons of calcium and alkalinity mixture every month, so monthly.
how much?
About 5 gallons. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Do you know what you're dosing milliliter wise per day, or?
Shoot, we did figure that out. Manny and I figured that out. I can't remember.
It's going to be different for every tank. I mean, that's really hard to figure out. You know, you got to figure out what your needs are and go from there.
Yeah, it's
1897 divided by 31.
24 times a day, something like that, like in that range. Someone could do the math.
I mean, I purchased all the calcium reactors too, and I haven't switched over yet either. I just feel like it's so easy to do the 2-part dosing. I mean, it's kind of foolproof, I guess. I mean, the calcium reactor, so much could go wrong. You know, you just never know what could happen, I guess, with the calcium reactor. You have so many moving parts with it, you know. And then with the 2-part dosing, I mean, you set what you want, and it slowly puts it in your tank, and that's it. And then when you're ready to add more fluid or whatever, you do it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan too.
Yeah, if Google's math is incorrect, you're roughly about 610 milliliters a day for 5 gallons a month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
But then again, I don't know. Google lied to me about a stream we had a few weeks ago about mountain time in Arizona.
I was talking to him today. He was thinking of jumping on. He saw the post in another group.
You should tell him how unbelievably easy it is to set up the GHL controller.
Yeah, I already did. Hey, so I run a calcium reactor, and I only have a 120-gallon tank. So my pH is pretty high. My melt rate's slow, but I'll tell you, it's set it and forget it. As long as you take it slow, it's not as difficult as everybody makes it out to be to run it.
Yeah. Nice.
You just go slow and bring your pH down. I run the constant stream method, and I got the controller monitoring my pH. It goes on and off, and you just dial it in down, one pH level at a time. But it's a thought. When you start getting up in a tank that big, before you know it, you'll be using, 5 gallons of 2-pot.
The other thing with the calcium reactor too, I think, is the maintenance of it. Cleaning out your, the old media, replacing it with new media. Refilling your CO2 tank. Got to go down, fill that out. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like 2-part dosing is so much easier.
Yeah, I guess like one of the main things you're missing though is all the benefits of the trace elements. You don't have to worry about that. And from talking to people that are like doing great, really they're growing stuff faster than I'm growing stuff. They really swear by the calcium reactor. They're saying it definitely grows corals faster, but it's a trade-off. Everything's a trade-off in this hobby, and I totally agree that the 2-part is easier. I've never done calcium reactor, so I'm happy with where I'm at. It's easy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not trying to talk bad about the calcium reactor. I obviously spent a lot of money to have it and got ready to set that up. It's just like now that I've gotten used to 2-part dosing, I'm like, man, this is so simple. I don't even, kind of like you, Brian. I'm afraid to mess up what's working. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
I don't know.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But if anybody's looking for some calcium reactor equipment,
What do you got? You get the Destaco?
Let me see what I got over here. Let's see. It's my thing. I got some Geo stuff. It's available.
What's that? The 624?
I don't even remember what I ordered here. I think it is.
Yeah.
624, and then I got the smaller one.
Nice.
Still in the wrapper, man.
Should set that bad Larry up.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Oh yeah. But I just switched over to that Tropic Marin stuff too. Has anybody tried that? The Tropic Marin 2-part dosing, where it's like it's these it adds more of that let's see here. Anybody switched over to this stuff yet?
Nah, I haven't tried it.
No. So this adds more trace elements, Brian, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
But
What size is that tank you got running there?
this is 250.
Nice.
250 Reef Savvy. 4 radions on top with the Reef Bright attachments. And the diffusers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Nice.
Took a lot of tinkering with those, man. I was frying a lot of corals at first, and I had to visit Brian's house quite a few times to replace everything. And you'd be surprised how low. I had to turn these down pretty low.
Yeah, I fried my share of sticks with the XR15 over a BioCube. And tell you, I have quite the graveyard that's worth a few $1,000s.
Well, a lot of the stuff I got from Brian is doing very good right now. Very good.
Awesome.
Very happy with everything.
Good to hear.
Very happy. Kind of tough with this blue light to kind of give everybody, But, yeah.
Hey, man, are you going to be cutting off any portions of your Cato anytime soon?
Oh, man, I got so much. Anytime you need any, man.
I got a grow light, and I'm thinking about starting up a little bit of a refugium. Where are you?
I recommend it. It really helps me with my, phosphates and my nitrates.
Yeah.
It's great. I got like 3 different types of this stuff growing in here. I got the red. I don't even know what you call it. Get this red. Yeah, I got the lettuce, you would call it.
Mhm.
And then underneath all this, I got a huge mat of Cato. It's a huge.
Yeah, I've been trying to get some on like Algae Barn and stuff, but they're everywhere sold out of it.
We can figure it out, man. Get you some of that.
Awesome.
I mean, I basically have to toss like 10 to 20% of this every couple weeks, you know.
That's amazing.
So
Oh,
not a big deal. What's that?
Where can I reach out to you?
Well, I'm not sure. I guess, do you have a pen and paper?
Yeah, let me go grab it.
Yeah, I can give you his info.
Oh, there you go, Brian.
Yeah, I got his number. So.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Brian, what would you say that your favorite coral is in that tank?
Oh boy, can I answer like a couple of favorites? There's so many. Yeah. Okay, so if I had to go a favorite, I would say I'd cry if I lost a lot of these corals, but I think it's this chalice down here. This one it's so bright, it's really cool. But and then runners up, I really like the Space Invader Pectinia. I think that thing just glows.
Yeah, it's really nice.
This little guy up here. There's a little chalice up there that looks sick, and then that Ecotext over there is that's a Grand Maestro Aiken, they call it, and then the other one is like it starts with a G. It's like I can't remember the name of it, but I got it written down somewhere. I'm not so good at the names of things, I don't really have a lot of name brand stuff, like, but a little bit here and there.
There's so many names. It's crazy.
Yeah. Like with the Zoas, like there's a red and blue one and a pink, But yeah, I think these, like for Zoas, these little Zoas over here with the red with the orange and yellow in the middle. I don't know what those are, but they are sick. I really like those. And then the Utter Chaos, that was my favorite for a long time. They're still really amazing. It's just there's so much to like.
Yeah, you have a great color. So much color in there.
Yeah, and then
oh, you guys got to go to his house and just stare at them for like hours. He's got so many of them.
I want to so bad. Next time I'm in the area, I want to come by and get some nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You almost lose track of time. You sit there for 3 hours. You're like, all right, I got to go home.
Oh yeah.
Get in trouble.
I've been down in the frag room till 2 a.m. many nights.
So, Brian, on the new frag tanks that you're setting up, are you going to have any fish in there?
Just maintenance fish. Like I really like the 6-line wrasse. I'll have one or two of one of those in each tank. And then I mean it'll be deeper. It'll be 12 inches, so I'll have room for a tang or so. I'd probably do a wrasse and a tang, and that's about it. I do have clowns pretty much in every tank though, but it's just because I buy people's tanks on Craigslist and they usually come with clownfish, and I have a hard time letting them go. They're just, I love clownfish. But yeah, I mean it's really geared towards the business. I'm doing all I can to grow corals as fast as I can, and so the fish, from what everybody says, they really do help the corals grow with fish poop, or just feeding the fish, adding nutrients to your water. So I'll have something in there for sure.
Do you have a favorite tang for eating algae?
Well, I really don't have that much algae, so so I can't tell you which ones are the most effective. But the yellow tang seem to be like really hardy. That's my go-to tang. I've had a purple tang before, and I ended up losing that after a couple of years. But But the yellow tangs add a nice splash of yellow, which really, I mean, the 24 karat lepto gets close, but there's no real yellows like that. So I'm a big fan.
Brian, do you know currently what you're running parameter wise?
Yeah, so I'm like around 9 or so alkalinity. Magnesium, I'm at like 1350 to 1450 around there. And then calcium, I'm at like 375 now, so I'm a little low. I'm slowly creeping it back up. Like to be around 450. So I'm slowly moving that back up. And then nitrates, I'm at like 10 or so, but that kind of fluctuates too.
Yeah. What about PO4 must be on the low side as well, right? With the zero algae or the corals are just uptaking the amount of PO4.
Yeah, phosphates, I actually haven't, I can't remember the last time I've measured for that. So
You and I measured them, remember that?
yeah, Manny, you came over, right? Did you?
Yeah, they were pretty low. You had them down to, you were like 0.08, 0.07, something like that.
Yeah.
On the, that was the ultra low range.
Nice.
Nanometer. And Brian, have you noticed any difference in the coloration of your corals and also the growth of your corals at different alkalinity levels in your tank?
Yeah, well, I've kept everything really steady, like around 8.5, 9 for a long time. I did switch over to the Reef Crystals, where I went up a little higher, like I think it was like around 11 or so, and I didn't keep it there long enough to really notice a difference. I ended up bringing it back down, but the when I changed my lights over from a mixture of metal halides and an AI prime and the old castle. I had stuff like hanging everywhere like Christmas ornaments. When I changed that over to the Ecotex, it took a little while. I think I overpowered it, but once they settled in, I got the light dialed in right. They're really, the colors are really popping. The new growth is like completely different color than the
yeah, I've noticed that too with my new growth. The colors are definitely more vibrant than, yeah, for sure. I've also noticed that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the higher the alkalinity that I have in my tank, I would say the more hardy my acropora seem to like it. You know, they seem to thrive better with higher alk. As soon as my alk starts to dip low, I seem to start losing a thing here or there. So I don't know if anybody else is experiencing anything like that, and I don't know if it has to do with any correlation with the lights. You know, if the LEDs are stronger lights. So I don't know if, like, because of the stronger lights, do I need to higher alkalinity for better survival rates of my corals, or, you know, because it seems like when my alkalinity starts to dip down towards 9, and I'm not or even under 9, if I'm not keeping it like around 9.5 to 10.2 in that kind of range right there, it seems to mess something up in my tank. So, but I'm sure every tank is different. Every tank is running different lights and different parameters and stuff like that. But that's kind of what I'm going through right now. I seem to have better luck with my alkalinities. I would say right around 9.5, you know, or higher. But.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
What's your lighting schedule? Like, how long are they on?
I do 10 hours with an hour moonlight before they ramp up and an hour after. So call it 12 hours total. But I mean, the hour before and the hour after, I don't know if I could really count that. It's just a very low moonlight.
Yeah,
I think you have to like work up to that. I had to work up to that with my 4 LED Ecotecs. You know, like I couldn't start with 10. My corals would fry. I had to like work up to that slowly. And then it was all trial and error at the beginning. it was, you know, but once you figure it out, you know, I asked Brian a ton of questions. I'm sure he could tell you. So I was at his house every week, like, oh my God, what do I do here? What do I do there?
I'm sure, I mean, Manny, he could have gotten a tan watching his fish tank. Like, He had so much power running through
Oh,
it. He has
Yep, I was listening to everybody online and on YouTube saying, oh, you just start them at 40, 50% and you're good. You know, I did that. No way. Oh my God. Everything was bleaching.
yeah.
So I had to turn them down to like, I literally had to turn my 4 radions down to like 16% at 13 inches above the water. And then I slowly started working them up from there. So I found out where my corals would thrive, you know, 15, 16%. And then I slowly brought them up, you know, without going too high. But
Yeah,
again,
mine was similar there, Manny. I started my XR15s.
Yep.
I started them like 40%. You know what I mean? Because same
Yeah.
thing, like BRS
Everybody.
and all these things is like, oh, run at 100%. You know, but they don't tell you nobody runs 100% all channels. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
the wattage correlates with how much power was actually putting out, but they were still burning everything. Now I had them on the 8-inch mount, you know, the HMS mount or whatever.
Yep. You had them on the
RMS,
mount.
the Ecotec
Yeah.
mount, right? And I'm like,
Yep.
I'm smoking these things. And I was running Tropic Marin Pro that was like 7.2, 7.3 for elk. And I had like, you know,
That's
between
the salt that I
5 and
use.
10 on PO3, and I had like 0.08 on PO4. Like nutrient wise, everything was good. But I was smoking the tips of every stick I put in there.
Yeah, same
And
here.
then I dropped them down to like 15% with like a 3-month acclimation mode. And so that tank ended up crashing due to a Hannah checker. My father, I'd just leave the Hannah checker on the rim of the tank. And my father and my daughters were going out of state or whatever, you know, visit family. And I went away that weekend. I come back and there was a Hannah checker bobbing and weaving in the waves of the tank. So I'm going to blame him or my daughters, not myself. So the water got inside the thing and, you know, corroded the battery. And in terms of it ultimately nuked the tank because it was a small tank. But I don't know where I was going with that story. Brain dead.
Well, I'm using the Tropic Marin Pro too, and I have to I raise the alkalinity in it before I put it in my tank.
Yeah.
And I think with the combination of my tank maturing and figuring out the right percentage on my lights, things are going really good right now. And like I said, the lower my alkalinity gets, I feel like my corals are more sensitive to the light, which is kind of weird, but that's just kind of what I'm figuring out. So
it kind of makes sense. I think I read a lot of stuff on Reef to Reef.
Yep.
You know, like the SPS section. You know, that's kind of where what I'm interested in. I mean, I like every coral, but something about those sticks once you get bit. I just set up this tank behind me. It's been like a, you know, constant process, and I got an 8-bulb ATI over it. You know, I don't have any, so to speak, SPS in there right now. It's just, you know, a couple random things on the bare bottom glass, and it's connected to an 80 frag with a, you know, with the community sump, and I don't know. I might switch that light, but I'm running Neomarine just because I like the natural seawater, the aspect of like, you know, elements towards natural seawaters. The parameters are pretty close to the Tropic Marin Pro, but it's about $30, $35 cheaper.
Right.
You know, the only thing sucks is it's a 24-hour mix of the water versus, you know, I can make a 55-gallon drum of Tropic Marin Pro in 4 hours. It's good to go.
Yeah.
You know, now going over to the the Brightwell Neomarine, I got to let it run for 24 hours. So I forget what they call it, anaerobic salt or whatever the salt is. That type, you have to mix it for a minimum of 24 hours for everything to dissolve and the pH to get to, you know, the right level and stuff like that. But parameter wise, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. What? I mean, if money wasn't an object, and it never is down the road, you know what I mean? That's just that initial. I mean, you got some nice equipment there, you know. I mean, You know as well as everyone else knows, stuff isn't cheap, and I like those new ATI Stratons. Have you seen those?
No.
So they got a spread of 30-inch, I believe, front to back. So it's ATI makes them, and it's just a big LED panel, similar to like the whatever, the Coral Care or something like that. But par numbers on them are ridiculous. It's like having an 8 or a 10 bulb T5 fixture over the tank. I mean, it's like 600-700 par. Run to the top of the rocks. 10 inches under the water.
Yeah.
But they're also $1,100 a piece.
I mean, I have a par meter, and I have the Apex Neptune par meter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm running for a controller. And it's at the top of my rock work, I would say a few inches underneath the water. Running around, it's like 100 par, and that's where everything is doing well. And I thought it would be much higher, so just listening to everybody online and reading what everybody was saying online, I'm like, oh yeah, I could do 250, up top,
right.
250 par, and I'll be fine. And now not even. It's crazy, and I don't know how some people are doing it, because some people are doing it. They're even doing maybe a lot higher than that. It's crazy.
Well, from what I understand, I mean, say you got, like, I had a TSA Tesla Acropore, right? And it's like a cool, like, purplish, blue, green, or whatever. But in order to like pull out certain colors, they're running it at like 800-900 par. So you know what I mean? And I'm like, holy crap, I'm never gonna get to this level. But I put this 8-bulb ATI fixture over this tank, and myself and the club, we both have, the brand new Apogee MQ510 par meters. And I'm like, just with the 8 bulbs on, because I've always had LED lights. I had compact fluorescent and metal halides back in the day, and I've never run T5s. And I was like, oh, let me see how it is. And 8 bulb light, dude, it was like, the bulbs, the fixtures, so 8 inches off the water, 10 inches under the water. It was like 600 something par. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, what am I going to run, a 2-bulb setup? I don't want to spend the money on, 3 or 4 LED fixtures. I'd rather, get the designer sticks back in there. But it is what it is. It's like you said, and everyone else says, every tank's different. You can have something that's 50 par and it's growing the most absolutely amazing coral, and then you can have something that's 1,000 par and it's doing amazing as well. So who knows? It's all a mystery.
Of the coral again. How do you frag like xenia and softies like that are mushrooms? Do you just use the rubber band method?
Well, for me, no. What I do with
Can't hear you, Brian. You got to speak up.
So with mushrooms, I wait till they split on their own, and then I cut the rock. I have the diamond saw blade. But you can use like bone cutters, so that way you don't have to reattach them. But I have in the past used a razor blade, and I've cut mushrooms in half, like especially the hairy mushrooms. Those things, like, they get so big so fast. I just razor blade right through the middle, all the guts spill out. It's gross. And then a couple days later, they're perfect again. Like, they just heal right up. So to get them to attach in that case, I have a basket underwater with a bunch of chunks of rock and gravel, and throw them in the basket so they don't float away, and let them attach naturally. And I might leave them in there for a month or 2 months and forget about them, and then eventually I'll say, oh yeah, look at that guy, and and pull him out, and he's stuck on a rock, and then you're good to go. But with the mushrooms, I have a bunch of frags of them, so I'll, they'll split on their own, and then I'll just cut the frag in half and do it to two more plugs. And then same thing with the zinnia. They when they grow, they spread out, you know, they'll move along. And so when one moves over to the edge and kind of separates itself, I'll just chip off the edge of the frag plug and glue that to its a new one. With the leather corals, though, I've noticed a lot of people have a hard time with success with those when they frag them. And I've noticed that the base of the mushroom, or it's a leather, but the base of it is like a different type of tissue that can really, it's made more for attaching to rock. You can literally see the difference. So if you frag that, rather than cutting off like around the edges, if you cut it like right down the middle and keep some of the stock, then you'll have nearly 100% success rate. If you do cut around, like if you want it, like I've used a knife and chopped the whole entire top off, and then the base will grow a whole new mushroom. And then you can slice up the top into little chunks and do the basket method. But cut it out of water, wear goggles, wear gloves, you know, it's gonna have a lot of nasty stuff, toxic stuff coming out when you cut it up. So don't do it in your tank, you know. Be careful, but yeah, and it will attach. If you don't have part of the base, you might lose some of them, but you know, I'd say I have like 50% success rate if I don't include some of the base on those. But you cut it down the middle, you can cut the rock in half, and then you're gonna be good. Yeah. And then leathers like this is what people usually do, the rubber band method. You know, if you cut off a little branch and then try to get it to attach to a rock, that's hit and miss. You know, it's I don't know, if I had to guess, I'd probably say 50% again. You know, and if I cut the branches off, and those you really have to worry about infection too. You know, you got to be really clean with them. So yeah, if you can get like a bigger piece too, like if you cut off one of those little tiny arms, yeah, you might have less success than cutting off like a whole giant branch, just from my experience. But I've fragged them a bunch of times successfully, and they're fast growing. The chalices are great. You know, you just have to, you can't be messy with them. You gotta, you know, if you have a bandsaw, that's the best way to go. You know, just keep it clean. You know, clean it in between corals. And, just keep an eye. You know, have an eye plug, and then after you cut it, you gotta watch out for hermit crabs, because they'll move in and say, "Oh, something's injured," and they'll start picking at it. You know, so I'm always like keeping the hermit crabs away while I can heal. Everything else is pretty much just break it and glue it, you know?
A little bit of a tangent, but if you notice you have like a fish with ick in your display, how do you go about catching it?
Yeah, so I've had ick like a few times, and with the delicate fish, yeah, it's definitely a problem. But I've got all really hardy fish, and they tolerate it well. So like this guy here is actually new. I've had him for maybe 3 weeks, and he does have some ick on him. And the other fish are fine. Like this tomato got a little couple dots on his back. But I've gone through it a bunch of the times, and it'll disappear on its own. You know, it'll completely it takes a month or so, and the fish will, you know, they'll shed it off. I haven't had any problems with it.
I noticed some on one of my clowns, and then I was looking over at my Royal Grama and noticed it too. And the clown will be easy to get, but the Royal Grama. So you think it'll just kind of solve itself, because those are both pretty hardy fish?
It will eventually, but if your fish are too delicate, then you could definitely lose your fish. You know, I've heard stories of guys losing all their fish. I don't know if they just attribute it to the ick or really they did something else, but you never know. There's so many different variables. But the fish, they'll fight it off and, you know, get their slime coat. I don't know how it works, but it's come and gone over the years. You know, I'll get a new fish and they'll get it and then it's gone in a month and no problems after that. I don't do any like treatment or anything on them. But like a powder blue though, I wouldn't even try one of those. You know, those are just like I have tried one before and yeah, no luck. Like they're so bad. They're just so delicate. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess another challenge for me is keeping the these guys, the tangs fed. You know, I've got so many other aggressive fish that I really have to like dump it in there all at once so they can get some. You know, and, these guys are doing pretty good. They're a little on the lean side, but they got some weight to them, and so I'm doing good with these guys, but I have had problems keeping them fat and healthy. I feed nori and then flake food for the, you know, that's mostly what they eat. I'll do like a sheet of nori almost every day. And the wrasses, everybody else will just attack it too. So
Same here. Do
they're not
flake
eating
food.
the whole thing, but do you guys have any ideas on what else I should be feeding these guys and fresh veggies or anything? Maybe iced food. I don't really feed iced.
I tried feeding Kato to mine and some other things like the lettuce that I had. And, they were just they were very finicky with it.
I know at Tropic Isle in Framingham, I see like lettuce and I think zucchini in the tank a lot, and all the fish seem to love that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool. Good to know.
My garden outside is winding down. I wonder if they like peppers. I got so many peppers and all kinds of stuff out there. Try stuff. Yeah, I like these little damsels too. The little striped damsels are like $5 a piece. You know, threw those in when I started the tank, and I still got them. I still love them.
Yeah, they are cool. Everyone seems to steer you away from them because they're so territorial, but they are cool.
Yep. And you know what I really love, which I haven't been able to find, is you know, the yellowtail damsels. They're bright blue with the yellow tail. The female, I don't know if it's the female or the male version, but the other version is solid blue. Even their tail is solid blue. And I had a few of those. I bought at Aquadreams, and they are so bright and so awesome. And eventually, I finally lost my last one of those, and I have never seen them for sale anywhere. If anybody ever sees those, yellowtail damsel, but without the yellow tail. There are like the solid blue ones, but their tail is usually white. These ones I saw were like solid blue. This one's got the yellow top fin. I'm not sure I forget the name of that one. When I first got this carpet anemone, he ate like a 4.5-inch sailfin tang like within a couple hours of me putting them in there. like I'm like, I guess I got a healthy one because and he's been in that spot ever since. But my sailfin tang disappeared, and then a couple days later he spit out a whole pile of bones. So I was like, yep, that's where it went. But other than that, I don't think he's eaten anything. I don't know.
Wait, its mouth can open that much?
Oh yeah, it just, you know, it's really sticky. Those little pink dots on there, I mean, it'll grab onto your finger and you gotta pull to let go. Yeah, it just envelops it and just, you know, like somehow folds over it and it's, you know, next thing you know, it's in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you guys do these chats often?
What?
This Zoom chat, how long have you guys been doing this? Is this the first time?
Oh, we can't hear you, Paul.
Sorry about that, guys. I got my mic muted. I think our third one. It might be the fourth now. We had one with Derek Picker. He's actually in the thing here from Reef Automation. So if you get a chance, go check out his channels. He's a automation expert, controller wise, and everything else.
What up?
What's up, man?
Yeah. So
Is this the Reef Bot Owners Support Group?
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, we just we bought a Zoom license because normally, you know, Boston Reefers, we have a monthly meeting, and you know, due to COVID, obviously nobody's meeting in person in terms of, you know, small to medium to even large groups. And you know, in those meetings, you know, whether we had like, you know, say like a build off or, you know, a get together, you know, we have a Christmas party and stuff like that. Usually fly like industry people in from, you know, from the meetings and, you know, give a presentation and talk and stuff like that. And again, due to COVID, that didn't happen. So we made the decision to purchase a Zoom license, and we're trying to do it this way. It's just a matter of schedules and getting people to agree. So, you know, oh, nice.
Yeah, that's
The
cool.
blue ribbon eel.
Beautiful.
That's my new baby.
Yeah, it's a sweet fish.
Wow. Oh man.
If he would eat, that'd be awesome. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, they're finicky from what I understand. Eric,
I've tried everything.
friend of mine bought one. I want to say about 3 months ago. He had it for about 2 weeks. It wouldn't eat, and then it actually got sucked into his MP60 and shredded itself. And he has a new one. I haven't talked to him in the past couple of weeks, but I know that you know, through text he said this one is eating. It's eating. I want to say it was like chunk of scallop or something like that.
I don't know. I've been putting
Something you don't
everything in
think
there.
of, you know.
I put silver sides in there. I put shrimp. I put scallops. I put clams. I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah.
Have you tried putting anything like garlic on it to see if it'll entice it a bit more? Or...
Yeah, no, it doesn't. He doesn't care. They're a pain in the butt. But that's me. I buy pain in the butt stuff.
So whoever was asking, I don't know if it was Manny or someone else. I didn't really look at the screen. I apologize. You know, on our forum as well as our Facebook page, anytime that there is a scheduled meeting, it will be posted up there. Right now, we're just trying to, you know, and again, due to COVID, you know, I mean, Brian with the Coral Farm and some other, you know, avenues are gracious enough to sponsor our club, you know, so it's good to give back to them and have them, you know, showcase what they have and be able to boost sales. You know what I mean? If anything, it's a bunch of reefers sitting around and, you know, talking to other reefers.
And I ain't from Boston.
Exactly.
I'm from Arizona.
You're from the chick in the car and the car don't go. That's how you spell chick car.
Well, I am from Chicago, but I live in Arizona. So
What's that, a 2-hour difference, Paul?
Yeah, exactly.
You notice I'm an hour late, right? Because I looked at your time zone that you gave me from last email.
I actually told these guys, I was doing some Google math earlier, and I told them about my Google line about the Arizona Mountain Time. That doesn't exist, apparently.
No, it doesn't.
So what is the name of your website?
My website?
No, the Reefer. What is it, Boston Reefer?
Yeah, it's just on bostonreefers.org.
Gotcha. Okay, that's it.
You know, like I said, we have a Facebook group. We have a, you know, community Facebook group, a regular Facebook page, and you know, Boston Reef has been around for a while now. I believe since 2002. Don't hold me to that. I've been around since 2004, but I'm pretty sure the club's been around since 2002.
I think you've been around since way before 2004. That's just
1976, baby.
There you go.
I'm almost as old as dirt.
And I'm almost as old as you. So there you go.
I'm 78.
So I'm 44, and I feel about 104.
Boston.
Yeah, 2002, they incorporated into 501c3 nonprofit organization. And, I was involved for a number of years in the beginning, and then kids like everyone else, and you get out of it. And, now my daughters are grown and have no life anymore. And, you got to do some things different. So back to the reef it is, but, I mean, I don't know if you guys got anything else for Brian, or Brian has anything else for him. I'm definitely grateful that Brian agreed to this presentation and put this presentation on.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a lot of fun. I love talking
great.
reef with everybody.
Yeah, good stuff. I appreciate it.
And
Thank you
He's
for
a
inviting me.
fragger. He's a fragger. Is that what I heard? Late.
He owns the Coral Farm out in Westfield, Massachusetts. So
Oh, nice.
he's a sponsor of the club and a vendor doing his thing.